Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. The president's move late today, revoking the security clearance of a former CIA director who spoke out against the president. The White House citing John Brennan's, quote, lying and erratic behavior, and then issued a warning, a list of names of who could be next. Our reporter pressing the White House late today is the president, now targeting those who question him in public. Also at this hour, the jury now set to decide the fate of Paul Manafort. Our team in the courtroom, Robert Mueller's prosecutors, telling the jurors to use your common sense. Does it make sense that Paul Manafort had 31 overseas accounts and that he forgot he had to report them? Manafort's lawyers taking aim at Rick Gates. Will it work? Also breaking as we come on, we are just learning of a shark attack in the Northeast. Paramedics called to the scene. Swimmers rushed from the water tonight. The deadly bridge collapse, drivers plummeting 150 feet, the death toll rising tonight. And what we've now learned, the desperate search this evening for a pregnant mother and her two small daughters who vanished. The press conference just moments ago. The close call on the runway. How did this happen? A van with people inside right in the path of an oncoming passenger jet. And made in America tonight, the couple and the car in their garage. How much was it really worth?
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. And we begin tonight with the president taking aim and taking away top security clearance from a former top intelligence official who has been critical of the president. President Trump today revoking clearance for former CIA Director John Brennan, accusing him of, quote, erratic conduct and behavior. Brennan responding on Twitter, accusing the president tonight of trying to, quote, punish critics, saying it should, quote, gravely worry all Americans, including intelligence professionals, about the cost of speaking out. And tonight, the list of others from the White House press secretary late today that came with a warning that you could be next. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl leading us off.
Taking aim at one of his harshest critics, President Trump today revoked the security clearance of former CIA Director John Brennan, denying him access to classified information. In a statement read by Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, the president invoked Brennan's, quote, wild outbursts on the internet and erratic conduct.
Mr. Brennan's line and recent conduct, characterized by increasingly frenzied commentary, is wholly inconsistent with access to the nation's most closely held secrets.
In a TV appearance just last night, Brennan lashed out at the president.
He is, I think, the most divisive president we've ever had in the Oval Office. He is feeding and fueling hatred and animosity and misunderstandings among Americans.
Brennan is a lifelong intelligence official who served under Republican and Democratic presidents, including as deputy director of the CIA for George W. Bush. Since he left government, he has become a strident Trump critic, even branding as treasonous the president's news conference with Vladimir Putin, where Trump said Putin gave an extremely strong and powerful denial of meddling in the 2016 election.
It is a betrayal of the nation. He is giving aid and comfort to the enemy, and it needs to stop.
Tonight, Brennan tweeted his response to the president's action, calling it part of a broader effort by Mr. Trump to suppress freedom of speech and punish critics, adding, it should gravely worry all Americans. And it's not just Brennan in the president's crosshairs. Today, Sanders read a long list of other Trump critics who could lose their security clearances too.
James Clapper, James Comey, Michael Hayden, Sally Yates, Susan Rice, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Bruce Orr.
It seems like everybody that you mentioned has been a political critic of the president. Is he going after his political opponents with this?
No, if there were others that weren't, that we deemed necessary, we would certainly take a look and review those as well.
All right, so let's get to Jonathan Karl live at the White House tonight. And John Brennan wasn't the only name mentioned. You just had that list there provided by Sarah Sanders. I want to show viewers at home, here's some of the faces. The one thing they all have in common, many of them, as you pointed out there, John, have been critical of decisions made by the president. So bottom line, just how unusual is this for the president himself to revoke the security clearance of a former CIA director and to warn so many others that they could be next?
Well, David, there's no doubt that he has the power to do this, but I cannot find another example of a president personally intervening to strip a former official of his security clearance, let alone one who has not been accused of breaking the law. For his part, Brennan says that this is going to have a chilling effect on former officials who may want to come out and question the president's actions. But I have never seen it happen before.
John Carl leading us off tonight. John, thank you. Also developing at this hour, jurors have just been given instructions by the judge in the Paul Manafort trial. The jury now set to deliberate his fate beginning tomorrow. President Trump's former campaign chairman could face life in prison if convicted. Robert Mueller's prosecutors today asking the jurors, does it make sense that Paul Manafort had 31 overseas accounts and that he forgot that he had to report them? Manafort's lawyers taking aim at Manafort's one-time right-hand man, Rick Gates. But prosecutors contend the documents are the star witness here, not Gates. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas, who was in the courtroom.
In their final words to the jury, prosecutors today accused President Trump's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort of, quote, two schemes, one to hide millions of dollars from the IRS, the other to defraud banks into lending him millions more. Mr. Manafort lied to keep more money when he had it, they said, and he lied to get more money when he didn't. Prosecutors say Manafort had $60 million flowing through 31 offshore bank accounts, telling the jury, use your common sense. Does it make sense that Paul Manafort had 31 overseas accounts and he forgot that he had to report them? They painted him as a canny manipulator, calling him capable and bright, adding Mr. Manafort knows the law. Manafort did not take the stand in his own trial, his lawyers presenting no witnesses on their own. But today his attorneys told the jury the state did not meet the burden of proof. And they tore into the prosecution's star witness, Manafort's former business partner, Rick Gates, who got a plea deal in exchange for his testimony. Manafort's lawyers saying the government was so desperate to make a case against Mr. Manafort, it made a deal with Mr. Gates. He painted Gates as the real crook, adding this is somebody Mr. Manafort trusted. What a big mistake that was. But prosecutors claimed Gates acted on Manafort's orders, saying that when Manafort hired Gates, he didn't pick a Boy Scout. And they insist their case is not built on Gates' testimony alone, telling jurors the star witness in this case is the documents.
And Pierre Thomas with us live tonight as well from the courthouse there in Alexandria. And Pierre, this case soon in the hands of the jury.
David, that's right. The judge just finished giving the jury final instructions. They'll start deliberating first thing in the morning, 6 men and 6 women deciding Manafort's fate with Washington and the nation watching. David?
Pierre Thomas with the picture from inside that courtroom today. Pierre, thank you. We're going to turn now to breaking news from Cape Cod at this hour. A shark attack late today. A swimmer bitten on the leg rushed to the hospital. Swimmers rushed out of the water right there in Truro, Massachusetts. In fact, several shark sightings have been reported in that area in recent days. ABC's Lindsay Davis tonight with the images coming in now.
Tonight, paramedics airlifting this man to a hospital for medical treatment after a suspected shark attack off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Call it Long Nook Beach for a subject possibly bitten by a shark in a thigh.
The call came in to police in Truro, Massachusetts around 4:30 this afternoon. The 61-year-old man was conscious and talking, but reportedly suffered puncture wounds to his torso and leg. This beach is now closed until further notice. While this would be the first shark attack in Massachusetts in 6 years, several shark sightings have been reported in the area in recent days. At least 2 great whites spotted just 100 yards off the shore.
Whoa!
This was the scene off the coast of Cape Cod just last week when a great white jumped out of the water, lunging at this shark scientist.
See that?
And just last month, 2 children playing in the waters off Fire Island, New York, were bitten by sharks. Both suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
All right, so let's get to Lindsay Davis tonight, monitoring developments as they come in. Do we know anything about the swimmer's condition tonight, Lindsay?
One witness said that the bite on the man's leg was very serious, calling it much more than just a puncture wound. And David, we also know that there are more seals in the area than normal, which can, of course, attract their predators, sharks.
Especially this time of year.
Yes.
Was a reporter there for many years. I know it well. So, Lindsay, thank you. There are more storms headed to the northeast tonight after the system already brought deadly flooding in the heartland. Police say a father and son drowned when their vehicle was swept off of a road in Montgomery County, Kansas. Severe flash flooding in Oklahoma City as well. Look at the images. First responders, they're carrying people through water several feet deep to safety. Flood warnings tonight as this system now moves east just in time for the end of this week. Let's get right to meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it. He's live along the West Side Highway here in New York tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. We have some strong thunderstorms to our north in New England and across Illinois and Indiana. And those storms that created the flooding in Arkansas and Oklahoma are waning a bit, but still have flood watches up. And the next couple of hours will be anxious one. The whole system presses off to the east into the Tennessee and Ohio valleys tomorrow. Cincinnati, Louisville could get rough for you guys. And then into the northeast flood zone where it's not going to take much to flood. It was dry here, thankfully, today, but it was hot, and heat advisories are up for New York City. The humidity is also going to crank the next couple of days, and that will load up the atmosphere for the potential of more torrential rains. David?
Rob Marciano with us tonight. Rob, thank you. And overseas tonight, and we do have new reporting here in that deadly bridge collapse in Genoa, Italy. That death toll, in fact, rising tonight. Dozens of vehicles plunging nearly 150 feet to the ground. And there are concerns this evening that more of that bridge could now fall. Hundreds of nearby residents evacuated. The intense search for survivors still continues. And ABC's Julia McFarland is right there on the scene tonight.
Tonight, a clear look at the devastation after that catastrophic bridge collapse. At least 39 are dead, and officials worry tonight that number may rise. Rescuers desperately sifting through twisting piles of steel and concrete, searching for survivors.
The possibility of finding people alive under the rubble are shrinking with the passing time, but we never lose hope.
This video capturing the moment the heavily trafficked bridge came crashing down Monday during a sudden rainstorm, taking over 30 vehicles with it. These residents telling me when the bridge collapsed, it felt like an earthquake. And the danger may not be over yet. There are fears that the rest of the bridge may collapse on top of those houses. This image showing the bridge before. Tonight, over 600 people evacuated from those surrounding buildings. Investigators trying to determine what caused the massive span to plummet, looking at possible design flaws or inadequate maintenance. The Prime Minister vowing action, saying these are unacceptable tragedies that should not happen in a modern society.
And Julia McFarland reporting in tonight from Genoa, Italy. And Julia, last night as this was breaking, you reported here on the growing concern in Italy over the safety of roads and bridges. We've, of course, heard that debate right here in the U.S. as well. You're now at the bridge site tonight. Officials are worried that more of that bridge could collapse.
Exactly, David. That's a real fear here, that more of that bridge could collapse, taking with it more structures and threatening more lives. There's real outrage here in Italy tonight, but despite that, neither the government nor the private company that's responsible for the highways is taking any responsibility for this tragedy. That debate on the safety of public infrastructure in this country continues. David?
Julia McFarland with us again tonight. Julia, thank you. And back here at home at this hour, and there is new fallout tonight after the devastating church abuse scandal in Pennsylvania. More than 300 priests now accused of abusing more than 1,000 children, the allegations spanning decades. One of the nation's highest-ranking church officials tonight, Cardinal Donald Wuerl, under fire for not reporting so-called predator priests to authorities while he was Bishop of Pittsburgh. He says he, quote, acted with diligence and concern for the victims. Pope Francis has yet to comment on the scandal. We are also following the desperate search for a pregnant mother and her 2 young daughters mysteriously disappearing from their home in Colorado north of Denver. The father saying he last saw his wife Monday morning after the two had a, quote, emotional conversation the night before. Tonight, the FBI joining the case, and here's ABC's Clayton Sandell from Colorado.
Police tonight are canvassing a small town with a big mystery.
I'm worried for everybody.
Desperate for clues in the disappearance of 2 little girls, Celeste and Bella, ages 3 and 4.
Hey everybody, say hi.
And their mother, 34-year-old Shanann Watts, seen here in a recent Facebook post.
We are working around the clock on this case, and we'll not rest until we have the answers that we are looking for.
Shanann's husband, Chris, says before his family vanished, he and his wife had some words for each other.
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that.
But he says he last saw his family around 5 a.m. Monday when he left their Frederick, Colorado home for work.
If you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back.
Friend Nicole Utoft says she got worried when Shanann, who is also 15 weeks pregnant, missed a doctor's appointment and would not answer texts.
I'm just concerned and Shanann, if you're hearing this or you're out there, please let somebody know you're okay.
Searches of the home and police dogs have turned up few clues.
Friends tell us Shanann's phone, keys, and wallet were found here in the family home. Local police are now getting help from the FBI. David.
Clayton Sandell tonight. Clayton, thank you. And one more note overseas for